All right, welcome everybody. My name is Nasu11910. I will be your commentator today for today's game of Shrimple, as that from the University of Houston going up against the team from University of Michigan. But I'm accompanied today by my great caster, Dude. Dude, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. It's good to be here. I'm learning today. This is my first time casting, but I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this competition. It's gonna be a good match today.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the most important part. This great game that we should have ahead of us here. Looking at a Div 4 matchup for our team here coming from Houston, Shrimple. Have you been able to watch any matches from them recently, dude?
I caught them uh in their last match where they had a strong comeback actually. I only saw one of them, but they like the match I saw, they're good under pressure. So um I know these guys, they won't crack. They're good.
For sure. And it's so far going into the season, they are golden so far. 4-0 win last week over Firefin Flyers. They're coming into this match 1-0, unlike the University of Michigan, who went up against a super tough opponent last week. Maybe a favorite to be coming out of this div, a PSU team, PSU White. PSU obviously known as a really, really, really strong collegiate Splatoon team. And so they're coming in 0-1. So, it's just week 2 so far. Only kind of a week where a lot of teams are coming out of the break. Maybe their teams just got formed or they're coming off of very little practice. So 1-0, 0-1 isn't the end all be all. But from your experience, dude, either from ranked play or if you've played competitive before, right? Kind of, how does that change your mindset just off of a game?
I mean, the big pressure is always we don't want to start off with the streak, right? But
Mhm.
I think with a strong season and a strong team, everyone's always in it to win it, and I believe that like Michigan can push, and they can make their streak 1-1, and they can come back and turn it around. It's just the nature of competition.
For sure, yeah. And again, right, PSU, historically great team coming from a great university. So I feel like 0-4 against them, like, yeah, you hate to see not being able to get into the scoreboard there, but still, the competition you're going up against. Even though Shrimple, again, 4-0, this should be maybe a little bit more of a balanced match here. It should be really fun. We are going to be starting on Clams. How do you feel about Clams as our starting mode?
Clams, I mean, it's probably the best way to see, in my opinion, like how a team can coordinate. Like with um with Clam Blitz, the way you have to keep your clam economy in check and managing the map and space and everything that goes into this game mode. It's a good sign of how our teams here are going to be able to coordinate and make good team plays together. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. And for those who are new around here, we're going to go through all 4 different game modes to start off. Then we're going to start cycling back, but we're going to go on to our first map here for clams. We can see the comps now. We can see some nice paintage coming in with some ground for both through those rollers. Or do you see anything interesting in these comps here, dude?
Well, I mean, the first thing I'm looking at is that brush actually is catching my attention. I mean, the beacons are gonna be like a way to just stay in this space-centered game mode. Beacons are a great way to stay in the enemy's lines and just be a little bit annoying, especially on a brush, on a mobility centered weapon as well.
Absolutely, and that mobility is going to be nice and open there, given that some opening picks are going to go for the side of, I believe, the University of Michigan. Found 2 picks there to start. Now it's going to be some pushing back on University of Houston's in yellow. Colors are a little inverted. Sorry about that, but it's going to be a lot of kind of picks going back and forth
Ooh,
here, a lot of trades, but a wipe eventually
wow.
comes through. So that's going to be Crumb right there in the backline, putting down those beacons, which we just talked about, going to be a really good opening. But hey, that's already a big clam in. A football has been sparked, and now some shots trying to stop this as there are 2 more clams unlikely to come in. Ooh, nice little snipe there, a quick scope. But look, that gate is still staying open. Ooh, a nice little sniper trade on the 1v1 as Warpy keeps this open right here. So that's a 47 lead with a lot of pressure still coming in and picks still happening on that side.
Yeah, that was a very explosive start for this game, but I mean it's Clam Blitz. We've all had games where stuff starts great and Clam Blitz happens. I mean it's the nature of the mode. You got to stay strong. You got to stay consistent. So honestly, if Shrimple can push back and coordinate a strong like contained push, they can make a comeback happen.
Yeah, and that's really interesting there. You can see that Michigan is just really pushed in there. There's not a lot of space that was actually garnered there from kind of that fight in mid as a bomb is going to take Egg out. But Skelly is looking in to find another one.
They're not
Very good
crazy.
roll and just instant hit as that Carbon is going to be finding a lot of value. And look, right here, being smart, trying to find that paint on the side to open some space and coming in, looking for the backline, instead has to go back and finds his kill. That's going to be a great kill from Skelly. That's going to be 1, 2. Looking for the third. Is the sniper dead? Yes, it is. That's a great Zuka coming in. Skelly, great job. As Egg's just trying to clean someone up. Is that someone back there? No, it looks like they're going to be out. So Annaline's going to come back and just stabilize in mid. Okay, so it looks like yellow team here from the University of Houston is finally going to have some. That's going to be Clam, probably going to be picked up and jumped if possible, but just the space isn't remaining. So we saw a really good wipe out there. We saw a lot of space garnered, but then it very quickly disappears. It just seems like the University of Houston isn't able to keep all this as much as they would want.
I think the thing that's helping Michigan keep this space is like they have that pen is keeping their floor painted. They
Oh, yeah.
just pick it up right real quick immediately, and the so apologies, the brush as well, kind of just darting around with the beacons, and it's all a very like fluid in terms of keeping space and keeping attention. Like as we can already
Zuka.
see, yeah. Oh, the
Ooh,
Zuka
looking
comes
for
out.
it.
Okay.
Yep. And we see that beacon right there. Not going to take it out. Warpy trying to go and protect it a little bit. But I do agree that pencil is doing so much work in the paint department. Bad little jump there. It might be another football in. Well, a white is actually going to come in instead. Shrimple is definitely not going to like that as the University of Michigan going to keep putting in. It's going to be a wipe right here with these last few clams just about there. And there we go. That's going to be the wipe at the end of the day. Definitely a paint deficit, I would say, because yeah, that pencil was just able to get in and just take whatever space they wanted, even through the eventual wipe and just kind of practical wipes there. It seems like Shrimple's going to have to look for maybe some more entries, some more paint, but great job from Michigan just able to for those fast retakes.
Yeah, I mean the big thing is control, control, control with Clan Blitz, and especially like with Carbon as a great example. Carbon loves getting plenty of paint, but when you're staring down a pen and it's like, well, I mean, they just get all the paint they want in the world. You know, that's it's kind of tricky for them to hold the space. But I mean, we'll see in these next upcoming game modes, the strategy is going to shift a bit, and it'll be interesting to see like how the teams adjust accordingly.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something to be said about the longer range that we saw, the longer range players that we saw in that last map, right? We saw that Pencil was often kind of just looking out into broad space, finding that panes, finding that spacing, and that Michigan was able to play off of that and just take space immediately. And the reason I'm pointing that out is because even though we did see maybe one or two duels there between the snipers, that wasn't really their main priority. We didn't really see the sniper from Shrimple coming in and contesting that pencil maybe as much as the team would want, perhaps, right? Not always the role of the sniper to take the 1v1, depending on the matchup and stuff, but given the way that there was so much sway there towards the side of Michigan, maybe you would have liked that a little bit more. But how can you do that if your team isn't able to move forward, at least give you kind of a gap to look for that pencil? So coming in 1-0, Shrimple, that's going to be their first map off for the season. and University of Michigan picking one up. And I believe next is zones. How are we feeling for zones after we saw that oppressive paint coming in from Michigan?
I mean, zones, especially barnacle zones, is it's a very open map. So they do need to watch out for that pencil because it'll paint. But it kind of goes both way. We saw the charger from Shrimple as well. They are able to get good hits and collect good picks. So I mean, if both teams here can kind of take advantage of the space this map provides, they can take space just kind of similar to how they did in the last match. But thankfully, they don't have to scramble around the map to also collect clams. It's a little more centralized around the point.
Yeah, I think here, kind of the key for Michigan, right? They know they can get that paint down for sure. But I feel like if the University of Houston, if Shrimple decides to keep running that sniper, I feel like they might have a little bit more favor here. I feel like the extra lethality behind that one shot is going to be a little better. So I think it's kind of the ball's in Michigan's court here to be a bit more aggro, to go and start playing that ledge underneath the usual sniper spot there and just kind of utilize that space as soon as possible. If you give Shrimple that chance, we already saw the sniper's able to get picks. Definitely the carbon from Skelly is going to be able
Carbon's
to go in
scary.
and do work. Yeah, it's going to be really scary here if you don't address that immediately. So we're going to need to see some fast play, hopefully from University of Michigan, or else Shrimple probably has a foothold here, I would say.
This is a very like stronghold like shutdown map.
Mm-hmm.
It's but I've seen it. Like I've played one match where we just got completely shut down on Urkel and Dime. It's tough, but if you can hold and you can make sure that you're playing like with teams and good pushes and you take your numbers, it's like that's all you need. I mean, the place
Yeah.
seems soon.
Of course, and I love that you mentioned that, dude. Right, pushing up that isn't just an offense concept here, right? This map is very, very, I guess, defensive centered in terms of taking that push up as well, and essentially blocking that first choke coming out of the enemy spawn. So it's going to be interesting to see how the teams decide to take that as well. But we're going to get into the match now as we make it to Barnacle and Dime. Both these teams vying for opening position here. Probably the last thing you want for both of them is seeing this fight go long at the start. But we're going to see a lot of swaps here. Definitely the blasters coming in. Still have a pencil on the side of Michigan alongside that pro. And on the side of Shrimple, seeing a nice big bow as well. Oak struggling a little bit at the beginning to have to get through some of those initial shots. And some movement from Skelly on the side. And that's going to be opening possession there for Shrimple. So that's great to see there. It's going to be really good for them to keep this space as Vinalu on the bow. And ooh, a little tag team there trying to chase out. You can already see, look at this push
Yeah,
on the
this
defense.
is exactly what you were talking about. Like they just put the pedal to the gas. Like they're going. This is quick. They also one interesting thing I've noticed is like they've had a drastic comp change here from Shrimple.
Mm-hmm.
Wellstring is interesting to swap from the as a swap from the Chargers to just because like it's an open map and Charger range is kind of oppressive at times. But I mean,
Ooh.
oh, hold on. It seems like Michigan's
Yeah.
taking a push back.
A very good position here for Michigan. So we saw the flip come in, and I want to know how that happened, right? We saw a bunch of specials come out, and very well timed, very well positioned specials for Michigan, putting them in this position. Instead, you saw what University of Houston's Shrimple just did there. They went in, they kind of just ran head first, which, it'd be like that sometimes in Splatoon. Sometimes you just get a little blood hungry. And we saw that was punished. Only now are these specials trying to come out as Vinalu has a vengeance right here against that pencil, but gonna get two
What a
instead.
stamp!
Big stamp that and send it in the postal mail as Eggs is gonna destroy the late bubble there with the blaster. So position is back here, but we can see alts are going to be king here. That's your tool to walk out. That's your tool to run back in. Annalane, wanting to find a little more, but eventually gets taken out by that pencil who doesn't really have anyone to fight against unless a longer range weapon like the bow comes in. Skelly able to find a nice little kill, rolling around now and stays alive for quite a bit as the lead is going to be back in Shrimple's hands.
Yeah, I think the both teams here are showing like very very good forms of like target prioritization. I'm seeing like they'll go and they'll pick one and just push from there. And I think both teams played well around the numbers, but I mean they locked out and Shrimple takes game two.
Yeah, and so this is going to be an interesting dialogue as Shrimple as that takes the second map, ties us up. But definitely seeing a little bit of the playstyles kind of start to emerge now, right? First map, both of the teams kind of saw, okay, other team's going to do this, going to do that. We've seen that they're making the adjustments now as we see new weapons start to come out, as the playstyle. That beautiful stamp coming in
What
from
a
Vinalu
stamp.
once again. Absolutely great with the quick flip onto the left to find the second kill. And also very nicely there on the edge of the zone. I guess an underrated feature of the game, the explosion on death for a little bit of extra paint to make sure that that gets on the zone. So back to what I was saying, right? Special usage is going to be key here. We saw on that map, Shrimple is that they like to use them as they come, use them as their convenience in the fight, while University of Michigan being a lot more, I don't know, I guess just kind of patient with it, right? Trying to build up that alt bank, get those specials online, and then use them one after another, use them in sequence, use them in the positions that they want, not so much when they are desperately needed. So I'm really interested to see how that's going to develop as the match goes on. See what Shrimple has to respond to that. If maybe their kind of more aggressive play style is going to be able to play well into that.
Yeah, I mean there's always like risk on both sides with that kind of special usage, like the economy around it. If you want to get more effective use out of your special by comboing them together, well, now you're spending technically less special output because you're holding them. But on the other hand, if you don't get as much value out of your specials, then maybe it might be better to hold. So both teams are going to show off the two sides of the same coin, and we're going to see that develop in this next upcoming match.
Yeah, how'd you feel about some of the swaps there, right? We saw, I would say, kind of the bigger ones that I noticed, right? We saw the blasters come out, which this is a really good blaster map, so it makes sense there. But we also saw a switch, no more sniper. Instead, we had the bow. How'd we feel about that?
I mean, well, we saw the stamp. I mean, the special, the bow is. I personally love well string. It's one of my favorite weapons in this game because the way that it can change interactions on a team is a very like it's very unique to that weapon. The AoE, it's at range is like just kind of oppressive, and what the stamp can do is just take very. It's a very volatile special. It can just flip an interaction in a moment, as we just saw. It was able to turn the tides on that match right there.
Yeah, for sure. I wonder if we're going to see more Wellstring here. You know, Bo historically hasn't been maybe the go-to for our next map, as we're going to go to ship. I'd like to call it ship because it is a ship and a boat. But we will get Rainmaker, right? Either way, I do think the blasters will continue here. Right, and we have seen that the teams are favoring some bubbles. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be the best here, but it could be really good for maybe finding a checkpoint or two as we move to Rainmaker. And me personally, I'm kind of leaning more towards Shrimple here, given that Rainmaker is always going to favor a little bit more aggressivity, maybe, than making those really patient pushes. I just feel like in a game mode like Rainmaker, where if you have to wait for stuff, you're just risking so much time and so much exposure towards your Rainmaker carrier or other members of your team. I don't know how you feel about that, dude. How do you feel about this mode in general?
I mean, I personally love Rainmaker. My folks here at the University of Houston have heard enough of me talk about this game mode, although I played a little more chaotic and crazy with Object Shredder, but that's besides the point. These teams here, they're taking it a little more seriously than I tend to. But I think What you said about aggression is actually a really good point with just like how different the Rainmaker is compared to the other modes because like there's a timer on everything you do with that Rainmaker timer. With the like resetting the Rainmaker and or with the bubble and the spacing with all of that. You have to be just very quick, very rapid with this mode. And that level of aggression, I actually agree with you with Shrimple. It'll be interesting to see how their aggression will combo in with this quick game mode. So let's see how it happens.
Yeah. Let's see as they come in. We can see the comps are coming in. We do have a blaster once again, and we have a roller coming back. That's going to be for the side of Michigan, and we are going to actually keep the well string with the stamp, which I think stamp's going to be great here. Stamp's going to do really good, but yeah, maybe a little surprised, but interesting to see. We have slightly longer range, I guess, on the side of Shrimple. You can see there that that's actually going to be an opening pick for them as they're bringing in a heavy edit and also that gal, but it's going to be opening possession here for the Rainmaker as, ooh, a lot of chasing.
Yeah,
Oh,
what a
what a
quick
nice
check.
flick. Yes. But a checkpoint as well. Yeah, there you go. I didn't even see that. I didn't even call
Yeah.
that one out, dude. Vindaloo is going to be killed in the backline. No stamped magic this time, but really good respawns here. Ooh, egg. There we go. A lot of pressure. Egg finally goes down to a dynamo. I didn't realize that's a dynamo. Wow.
I mean, we've seen what they've done to Dynamo recently. That weapon is not to be trifled with. So, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Rainmaker, with how quick it is and how great that weapon is at supporting its team with tactical coolers, I mean, it's no surprise Michigan's brought it out here to kind of keep up the tempo.
Yeah, I was scared there. I'm not Annalene, but just seeing the dynamo falling there in mid swing, I saw my life flash before my eyes. You
Yeah,
can
it's
see up on
terrifying.
bunker though. That's really terrifying. Michigan is taking that bunker, finally starting to move forward there as the Rainmaker does reset. That's going to be a really good booyah, just clearing so much space, allowing these kills to come in for Warpy there. And I believe that does have the Rainmaker open. Oh, so close. Annaline's right there. You see him. You see him. You know you want that kill. Oh, instead going to wait for the booyah. Okay, okay. Patient, methodical play for Warpy. Oh, coming in behind as well. Trying to find a little bit of an off angle, be a little unexpected against Shrimple, but instead going to pay with some ink there. Ooh, nice little rat gameplay from Warpy, finding the kill there. As there will be a stop here for the side of Shrimple. They're still kind of having to fight, though. You can see that all of Michigan hasn't been let out, which is really good for them. That's going to allow them to build these ults that we've seen that they like, and they're using very, again, methodically here just to extend the clock. Rainmaker's going to be reset. That's going to be mid-ground still on the side of Michigan.
Yeah, I actually noticed like when they had when they first got the Rainmaker pushed a little forward and got the checkpoint, they had like a little bit of a pause there, but
Ooh.
they like oh hold on they gathered in numbers and pushed together and that kind of allowed them to hold space for a bit there, but now things are kind of moving away from the Rainmaker. Interestingly
Yeah.
enough, we got a scuffle on
Warpy,
the side
for
here.
For sure, Warp be able to find their way in and get two on the side. We will see that the bow's finally kind of respawning in, but look at all this time that Warpy's buying. I bet Warpy is screaming on mic right now, "Where's the Rainmaker?" And there
I
it
mean,
is,
there
finally
it is.
taking a lead. Oh no, Alien's able to escape into the back, but dies, isn't able to find the crucial kill, and instead that's going to be the final checkpoint found. Rather, the winning podium.
That
Annaline
was
probably kicking themselves right now.
that was a very interesting game. I mean, we were talking about it before with the aggression from Shrimple, but it actually ended up going the other way. Michigan, I mean, they definitely weren't taking it slow and steady, but their methodical pushes kind of let them just keep space. The Shrimple just couldn't shake them off, and so as we look through here, by the time Shrimple was like able
Oh,
to recover and like kind of reconvene with all that time that Blaster brought, like it was
kill there to stay alive and get that final podium. But yeah, I agree, right? That methodical play, that methodical thinking, right? I guess maybe the way that I expressed it earlier, it sounds like it's a little bit slower, right? A little bit more defensive, but you can see right there, being methodical also has to involve knowing when to stay in, knowing when to apply pressure, knowing when you have to get in, when you have to get out. And right there, Oak and Warpy being absolute MVPs, just knowing, hey, I need to stay in this position right now. Yeah, my Rainmaker died in the back. Yeah, we're having to wait for a Rainmaker carrier a little bit or whatever's going on, right? And knowing, hey, if that's happening, I'm not necessarily going to go back and try to help and let Shrimple get all this space. Instead, I'm going to stand my ground. I'm just going to keep getting these picks and getting these staggers. That was kind of the biggest thing there. We weren't able to see Shrimple really reconvene and get a team fight there at the end because University of Michigan just had their players too deep in, getting those kills that were just kind of delaying that team potential. So really great adjustment there from Michigan. And I mean, also you got to praise their defense there. They worked really hard to take that bunker back after that initial Shrimple push. And really exciting stuff. So we've gone through Clam, we've gone through Zones, we've gone through Rainmaker. That leaves us with our last game mode that we haven't played yet, Tower. So how do you think these teams are going to tower? Or yeah, how do you think they're going to tower here, dude?
I mean, Haggle's a pretty.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Haggle's on
just
that.
yeah, it's Hagglefish Market. But Tower Control is interesting because it's probably, I would say, the most like slowed down. I mean, you have to lug a tower to the
Mm-hmm.
enemy base, so um, it's it might actually be a little more favorable for that slow or slower. I shouldn't say slow because as we saw in the last match, they're anything but slow. But that more methodical, like team-based combo play that Michigan has. But both teams, both Michigan and Shrimple are have shown their ability to adapt to situations. So I think Shrimple has room to adjust here. They've got to watch out for that blaster, as we just saw in that previous match. We all know blaster and tower control, right? That's a scary thing. But
Oh yeah.
um, if they can adjust, they can swing it back to a 2-2.
Yeah, I love grabbing my Luna Blaster, hopping into some tower control. That's always fun. But I agree. I want to see the reaction from Shrimple come back, play that aggressive style that we saw 2 maps ago, and see it succeed. Because I want more of this match. I don't want it to end at a 4-1. I want to see this go 4-3 all the way. As the teams come in, we see a very smart bucket coming in for Shrimple. Definitely going to be great. 2 buckets as well. And on the side of Michigan, that trusty blaster. Of course, we can already see Crumb here. Ooh, nice kill. A little fortunate there. Getting something nice like that. And Skelly playing on the sides, right? This map is known a lot for its flank play, and I want to see if Shrimple can abuse that, because that's definitely what they need to do to get through this ironclad team of Michigan here. They're just being very confident, and I guess just knowing where they're at. That's going to be a trade coming in on the right side there. Crumb's going to find a little more, though, so doesn't just want the equalizer, wants it to be a death sentence for the team. Skelly, not long for this world, as Crumb doing a lot of work there. And again, we see that this pencil finding all that space, so much room for the blaster to just come in and do some work. So that's always looking good. So finally going to be some points now for Michigan. Although, again, right, that methodic play. They took a step back to take 2 forward, and they've made it to the checkpoint now.
Yeah, one thing I've really noticed with Michigan is that they will never try and push unless they have the numbers advantage, and it's
Mm-hmm.
shown in these past couple of games that they really are able to stick to that numbers. They'll get a pick, reconvene, get another, and they kind of push together with their specials to keep space and keep tempo. We're seeing an inkjet come out. Whoa, okay, but it's taken
Ooh,
out. It's taken out swiftly. Um,
yeah. There we go. Able to find one, that jet, but does get taken out by the pencil of Daisy, which, has to see murder right in front of their eyes, as Skelly is coming in from the side now. So still a numbers deficit for Michigan, but that doesn't mean the progress is going in for Shrimple. So they're still having to fight for a bit more, as we saw in the previous matches, right? Michigan liking to keep that space, but it's Shrimple who goes down in numbers now. Skelly just trying to hold this, but you can see that Michigan isn't really being baited in. They just want their positioning and on their timing. They don't want to kind of run into anything drastic. They want instead breadcrumbs to take advantage of maybe Shrimple trying to push the envelope a little bit too much, as Crumb is almost able to get that second, not able to find a direct though. Egg's gonna have to fight on the side as another jet coming out. Let's see, is anything found? That's one. That crab is also getting a bit low. It's gonna eventually get ejected. Nope, it's just a death. Egg is able to find it, and Breadcrumb still just halting all of these pushes.
Yeah, this
Dang.
blaster has like just Breadcrumbs has shown like they're the blaster king. Like they're pushing with their team, obviously, but they're really showing that they won't back down from a fight. They will stand their ground. And the rest of the team is able to kind of capitalize on these picks that they're taking with the blaster, and obviously blaster also bullies tower since AoE with everything. Oh,
Yeah.
aggressive bubble from here as well.
There we go. Very good to kind of see that, right? See if any space can be opened up. Instead, Vinaloo is just going to say, I don't care about your bubble. Take this Kraken, and does open up quite a bit of space for the side of Shrimple. Oh, not quite enough. The Flings is finally going to find its kill there on the right. Really thought that might be going Egg's way, but no. Instead, it's going to be a fight against a crab, maybe an ill-fated one, as we just saw there. As the tower, we do got one person on there. It's going to be Eggs. Not long for the world, but is able to find the trade. Either way, right here, it's just Shrimple kind of trying to recoup, trying to find a little something something. And finally, it seems like a little bit of progression, but we can see most importantly that no kills were really found towards the end of that fight. So look at this, Michigan still living in the middle, still finding these trades. And with 30 seconds left on the clock, this is too little too late for the side of Shrimple, as they start to go up, but just too much possession for the side of Michigan. We're going to need some big kills here. Vinaloo trying to see if they can find some magic again with that melee damage of the special, but no, it's going to already be 3 down as they start respawning for Shrimple. Might be ill-fated here. Oh, that's a disconnect.
See, well, I mean, we just saw like a kind of, well, I feel like methodical has been the name of the game here. We've said it so many times, but like a very standard methodical. They push in, they take kills, they take space, and they continue forward. Oh,
yeah,
but
okay.
Skelly's kind of.
Skelly has to find some here because currently it's a 3v4, which is huge at this point. And if Skelly can get far enough in, or maybe prevent this kill, well, we do have jumps. Oh, the lead goes. So, okay, wait.
Confused on the situation here, to be honest with you.
Wait a second. Okay, let's break that down. So, in the last 15 seconds, Michigan loses a player while in an advantage position, which then leads to a kill, which puts them in a 2v4. After the 2v4, Shrimple is able to take the tower in the last 5 seconds, and Skelly is able to fend off specifically 2 of Michigan's players for long enough to hold them back while I believe it's Crumb, it might be Daisy, on the pencil isn't able to find the tower kill, and they just roll into a win. What?
Sometimes that just happens, you know. It's an online video game, but you take those chances as they come, right?
Yeah, gifted from the Amazon Web Service gods, apparently. Okay, so yeah, for those again who maybe aren't too familiar with CCA formatting, so what happened there, right? There was a disconnect, and this is a competitive esporting environment. The rules state that if that disconnect happens that late into the game, enough of the game has already been played, so there's no kind of redos, there's no try agains. It's going to be a score there for Shrimple unless there's some sort of weird ruling there, but there shouldn't be anything. So that's a legitimate win. And props there to Skelly. I know I've been saying that name a lot there towards the end of that. Being like, okay, we're at that advantage. All I need to do is just keep people back. Like if I can see everyone at the same time on my screen, which in this case, right, Skelly's probably just thinking, okay, there's two people on my screen. I'm holding back essentially the team there. So really smart play and just allowing the tower to do its own thing. I was a little worried though, not gonna lie. We saw that Shrimple was still kind of like taking picks. They were still losing people during that whole kind of tower sequence at the end. So maybe not the cleanest game, maybe not the game that they want to see and receive, but a point is a point. I'm not complaining, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, like when we're talking about tower control, it is always kind of like it's a little stressful when you're falling around the tower and you gotta make sure, oh, I don't jump off or somebody sneaks on, and there's a lot to keep track of, but they were able to kind of reconvene, seize their chance, seize their moment,
Mm-hmm.
and take that win. And I mean, we're coming back to Clam Blitz, which Michigan took before. But I think these two teams have seen enough of each other to kind of be able to make adjustments based off of their plays.
Yeah, I'm interested to see here, right? I think so far in the maps that Michigan has lost, I think maybe kind of their biggest Achilles heel is that maybe sometimes they try to kind of like over prepare for a fight, right? They wait a little bit too much to get all of their specials. They maybe delay having some people go on the flank, whether it be the blaster like we saw that last map, or whether it be kind of getting a pencil into position, something like that. They sometimes delay it a bit too much, which we saw on Shrimple's win on zones, right? They weren't able to attack the zone nearly as much as Shrimple was. We saw it just there on this last tower haggle, which, if you noticed, right, they waited a long time to make the pushes that they did, which meant that kind of on that last opportunity for Shrimple, they really didn't have to go super far with the tower, despite Michigan having had possession of the tower a lot there. So I like a lot more of kind of that hold forward position, methodical approach that Michigan's shown us on their first win and on Rainmaker as well. But we are going back to Clams here, where we started and where we did see a definitive Michigan win, right? Again, holding that space forward. I'm happy to see that for Michigan, and I think this is a great map for it. I think Uni here should be really good for that. No.
I mean, Clamblitz, we saw before the way they that Michigan plays, they control. I think
Mhm.
that's their mode of operations here. They control, they cooperate, and they conquer. But Shrimple, they've always got their X factor. If they can do anything, it's tear things asunder. So like it'll be interesting with how these two teams have learned to fight each other. If Shrimple can just derail things, knock things all out of whack with their aggressive playmaking.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'd be really good. And right, I think we're likely to see probably some buckets come back, probably some blasters come back here for this map. And I'd be happy to kind of right see that aggressivity lead into smart gameplay as we've seen from Michigan. And again, keeping that position. I don't want to see kind of what we saw there on that last map where it's like, okay, yeah, we're not like fully out, but we're going to go really far back onto our side of mid. Like, that's cool if you want to hold mid, but, you know, give yourself a good advantage. And so I think the team knows what they're doing here, right? We know that they can be confident on the clams. So hopefully, yeah. And so this is an important map, right? whoever wins here is going to go to match point. It's first to four format. So a critical win to really put the other team on the ropes.
Yeah, I mean the way things roll in these match sets, it's important for both teams to know like the gravity of each match, and this one's a good one to get. But Clamblitz, I mean the it's hmm, it's Clamblitz is a very interesting game mode in that it goes either way, to be frank. But we can see both teams here with their clashing metrics and how they fight. We'll have an interesting match five.
Yeah, and my eye here is definitely on Skelly, right? This map can be brutal when going up against a carbon. Right? There's been a lot of really big historical matches where the carbon has made all the difference on this map. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. Warpy back on the blaster there. And Skelly trying to vie for that space, right? Just chilling out on this corner. That's where you want to be as a carbon, right? You want to be on these corners so you can drop and do something cool, or just come around the corner. Not really going to pay off for a Skelly. Kind of had to choose between two targets and didn't find what they wanted there. Eggs, ooh, are we able to move that crab? Yes, the crab is knocked off, but hey, it was all right ending. So that's going to be Annalene who forms the clam here, and so you're going to see Shrimple's moving back. So they're going to play it a little smart here. They're going to try to kind of find the spacing first and then make the plays. Skelly, talk about plays. That's going to be 2 down for Michigan. So you're going to start to see Shrimple's going to move up. That's going to be a lot of ults, opening up. You can see Soda's on ground. We just had a lot of spacing moving forward. Ooh, nice little kill, taking a little back step there. Annalene now looking for an entrance, but a lot on the left. Some kills are going to come in for the side of Michigan, but it's not enough as the big, crucial opening football is going to make it in. I am cool, just chilling, being cool on high ground. And yeah, mid-control kind of going back and forth here now. But a really good opening from Shrimple. Did use all of those ults very well there.
Yeah, we can kind of call back to that conversation. Oh, okay. Hold on. I think they're pushing back for control here, but as I was saying, we can kind of call back to that conversation we had earlier about ult usage. Oh, Tenebissel's getting a pick. As they kind of take that and push into
that's
big
3
numbers.
down. That's that's a late wipe right there. That's 4, and yeah, we can see Warpy is not losing any time or any love on getting that. Does die to the bomb, we kind of had to stare at it dying there. Scott, oh, whoa, that's an angle of all time.
Yeah,
Okay, Daisy, I see game.
On the squid roll, I think that was a good hit.
Yeah, like the timing and finding the position there. But I mean, yeah, even though that was a great kill, I think they're looking at that great lead there. They were able to get some extra clams in besides the football, and also still some kills going in. So okay, a good position for Michigan. So what's going to be their approach here? Are they going to be looking to extend the lead? I mean, killing eggs is great there. No longer any pressure in mid, so they can kind of start taking the space. Or are they going to decide to maybe hold back and be more defensive? I mean, with Michigan, it could go either way.
I mean, we're seeing with Clamblitz the economy of clams. They're holding just about an equal amount here, but neither team is really gearing up for like a super huge push. So Michigan kind of has the time to like reconvene, get together, collect some space, but like as we're seeing those numbers get a little bit higher and higher. Both teams should like start preparing at least soon to get a push going, because 71 is a lead, yes, but it's a 9-point lead, and 9 points will be beaten by just even one super clam here. So they do have to make sure that they can get a couple more points in here just for some security. But the Blaster's just hanging out here.
Yeah, Warpy able to stay alive a lot there. Eggs finding a kill on, and kill is found on Annalene. But I think right now Shrimple is just devastated by all these trades, right? Everyone's trading out, which you expect from some of the weapons on this comp, just a lot of trading to happen. finally there's at least 2 kills at once for one of the teams, right? We weren't seeing a lot of that, and that is so much time that's just being wasted for Shrimple that they wish they could be using to build a push or to take more space, but instead they have to deal with respawning, which is a horrible mechanic for them right now at this point of the game, as there's 40 seconds left. And again, trades, trades, trades. We see that Michigan is just playing here to hold.
I mean, they actually have quite a few clams to work with here to stage a push. I mean, and Shrimple is just, I mean, they're just trying to find any at this point, but they have Pity to work with, and whoa, Skelly's getting aggressive here.
Very
They go down.
impressive.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
Carbon, that's what you got to
Oh,
do.
well, not only is it Carbon, that's 3 kills. That's 3 kills. Warpy going to be able to find another clam. That might be the silencer right there. Dang. So vying their opportunity, it pays off this time for Michigan, right? We were talking that we weren't quite sure if that was going to exactly be great for them. And unless there's magic there, which there isn't for Shrimple, that's going to be going Michigan's way. So we see that the patient, methodical approach of Michigan comes out on top, pushing Shrimple onto game, or well, pushing Shrimple to respond to game point for Michigan rather.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the plan, they plan, they operate, they push, but I mean, it's the game is not the set is not won yet. No fat lady yet. But we're pushing through now to Splat Zones, I believe, and Splat Zones, as we saw before, was Shrimple's game. So if Shrimple knows what they can do, they can push through, and they can take a match in Splat Zone. So we can push through to a last game, best of seven, or we might see Michigan like learn from the previous game, adapt a little, try not to play it too slow, and just hold through for their win and close out the set.
Yeah, I think right, definitely. Me personally, I wouldn't want to risk it. What happened last time on spot zones? I would want to be more aggressive for Michigan for sure. But in the back of Shrimple's mind, they must be thinking, well, what if last map happens again? What if that clams that we saw there on University happens again? And we have a scenario like that where it's just trade after trade after trade. We're not able to get a good foothold in mid, and we never get to touch the zone after an initial take or something, right? That has to be a worry in their mind now that Michigan has shown that look just now. Like they said, okay, we can beat you on clams. First time, we can beat you by knockout. Second time, we can beat you by like 2 clams. Just like 2 power clams coming in and just holding you out and just making you waste 4 minutes of your life. So right, that's definitely scary going into splat zones here. And with Shrimple kind of taking that little stagger step there from the last map, they're going to have to wake up for it. The good thing, though, we saw Skelly trying to make a lot of moves there on the side tower, is that this is going to be, which I'm assuming Skelly is going to come in on the carbon, because this is a great carbon map.
This is a wonderful carbon map. Yeah.
Yeah, one might even argue this is the carbon map in Splatoon 3. Right, that's going to open a lot of opportunities. So again, kind of what we were talking about when we move to our first instance of zones. We need aggressivity here from Shrimple to establish that presence and be able to play off of it. But me personally, I think I'm excited to see if Vinaloo whips out the well string. I think well string is, even though it's not like unconventionally here, I love it on this map. I think it's one of the better sneaky picks. It's gonna hold a lot of space here if it's used, and that stamp absolutely wrecks here.
Yes, absolutely. Wellstring, I mean, it's the just by nature of being a bow, there's a lot of places where people will hide and try, and just the cover of this map, they can hit over ledges or the stacks, and it'll keep people out of places where they want to hide that other weapons can't really get to. And we'll see if that switch happens. But as for the rest of Shrimple, I'm also interested to see how they deal with that, like that pressure, like that that pressure and that paint problem, especially with zones, because you got to paint the zones. So we'll see what happens for this match.
Yeah, for sure. I think, right, it's not something that Shrimple kind of showed themselves to do. A lot of other teams um, in different divs oftentimes employ just kind of a baiting strategy. Just kind of, it would have been good to see on that last map, just kind of baiting the other team in, then getting the wipe, getting the kills that they need, and then being able to move in. That's not something that Shrimple has shown, but either way, that could have been a possible strategy. I think that kind of gets annihilated here on this map. What's it called? Just kind of due to the elevated spawn kind of exit. There's not too much chance for that. Obviously, you do get the chance for a lot of ledging, which I think both teams are going to be very excited to take advantage of if they get the positioning for it. But yeah, I think it's gonna. This match is kind of going to be a test of the atrocities that Shrimple can commit here, seeing if they can be aggressive enough to just kind of commit some war crimes on the field in the best way possible.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see how these teams, do their evil deeds.
Yes, as we start on Mako, we do see that Flingza and, of course, the Carbon. We're going to see a heavy in for Vinley. We're not going to see the bow that we were maybe talking up a little bit, hyping up. But you know what is here? The pencil. And I know that pencil has already shown some proneness to getting lots and lots of paint. It's going to be a trade to start off, maybe some bad memories from last map. And Skelly looking for some to open as Vinu helping out there, opening some space for the entry. Skelly in, but is able to get one. Yeah, that's one right there for Skelly. I thought Skelly died. I was like, no. But instead, no, yeah, Skelly able to find one, looking for a little bit more. Eggs does get taken out on the side by the bow, but the bow is moved back. But Crumb is able to turn around and flip that advantage onto their side. Ooh, a little bit of damage there, but not quite enough, as Eggs is having to run away alongside Vanilla. Control finally gets swapped over, but hey, that's 46 points left for Shrimple to get. But some nice kills there are going to make this way closer as a wipe comes in.
That's a wipe. Oh, and interesting to note the beacons as well, just to stay in and just like never let them breathe. To be frank, like we saw this in the clam game as well. Oh my goodness,
Oh,
the blaster.
oh no, definitely not a sign of success there for Shrimple. I was going to point out after you're done talking there, right? Michigan's moving through the right here. They set up that beacon there and they have a lot of stuff going on. Is that going to be more? That's going to be a lot more. Dude, Warpy's just farming kills here. Oh my gosh, staying up here, finding another one.
All right, Skelly said that's enough.
Skelly said no more, trying to see if maybe a second kill is in the cards. Not quite, but that's 6, 5, 4. And unless Aileen has like some sort of special, no, that's going to be game. Wow, we did not expect that from Michigan coming in from the side and just blasting their way through that.
I think they heard that somehow they heard us like commentating. They're like, "Whoa, you guys think we're the slow guys?" No, and then they just went in and blew everything up.
Absolutely sideswiping at the speed of light there. That's going to be high ground taken alongside the set as Michigan takes the game 4-2 against Shrimple. So both teams going to 1-1, and wow, Michigan really showing that, we can play one way, we can play the other way, we can confuse you, that's for sure. Dang. Wow, I kind of want to see the stats there. See what Warpy was able to do. Just dang.
That blaster that we saw it on like taking space on Manta Maria. We saw it on that Inkblot map, and we've seen it here. Honestly, it's a force to be reckoned with. That was a wonderful display of that weapon's capability.
Oh, for sure. So amazing play there on Mako. Really, really fun. And so with that, University of Michigan, as I said, takes the game 4-2. However, in kind of CCA tradition, usually these teams, right, a lot of them are up and coming. A lot of them, for a lot of these players, a lot of times it's their first kind of introduction into competitive play. So it's usually good tradition and in good sportsmanship that the seventh map or the remaining maps are played. And that is what's going to happen here. Shrimple will go up against Michigan for their last map. This one doesn't go on the scoreboard. It's kind of like a friendly little scrim practice map. But still, either way, we've seen some great maps from both the teams. So I'm excited to get a little bit more. Are you, dude?
I mean, I love Rainmaker, so I will never be distraught to see another match of this wonderful game mode.
Well,
So,
what's your go-to kind of like weapon when you're going into Rainmaker?
they're not gonna like it when I say this, but I'm a big fan of Object Shredder Wellstring. I think I might have hinted at it earlier, but I just pop bubbles. I run in. I do some stamps.
Yeah, I'm
It,
not sure the audience is going to be too fond of hearing that, maybe.
but I mean, it's the way this game mode is. You can I do love the mix up of a completely different weapon. I with the carrying the Rainmaker around and the like the unique mechanics. This game mode has so many unique mechanics with the timers and the no Rainmaker zones, and it's an interesting game mode that has changed a lot as well. I mean, we remember in the last game there weren't even checkpoints, and in the first game there wasn't even a no Rainmaker zone, but it'll be interesting to see just as like a fun scrim match how both teams take this last game.
Yeah, and as Dude is mentioning, with Rainmaker specifically, and I guess you could say with zones as well, the two maps are very characteristic for their timers. As we saw last time with Rainmaker, right? Kind of gave some interesting way to how teams have to play with the pressure of having time, pressure of having a certain timing for how long they can hold on to the Rainmaker, or in zones, right? Having the pressure of knowing that you have to make a play at a certain time to make sure that you trigger penalty or that you just don't get eliminated. Right? You could say the clam has something similar with how long the basket stays open, but it's more so pertinent on the objective in these two modes. So I think, right, for us as spectators, it's very interesting to see how a team like Michigan reacts to that. Right, those are concepts that are not very favored when it comes to a slower, methodical team. Although, I kind of don't want to say that anymore, given what
Yeah,
we've seen
after
from Michigan,
that
right? Especially on that last
explosive
match.
game.
Yeah. But right, given that Michigan can play those multiple styles, you expect that maybe a team like Shrimple has a better idea of how to kind of attack at that, which is fair, I would say. But yeah, here, right, given that we're going to, this is museum, right? Kind of what are we thinking in terms of comms? What are you excited to see that these teams have already shown us that might reappear?
Um, I'm not gonna say it. Well, I will say it. I hope to see a well string pop up in this game
I will and I
because
won't. Schrodinger's saying.
like the not just because of the shredder damage, but actually a stamp I think is a really cool
Mm,
special in
mhm.
Rainmaker. The object damage on the Rainmaker is just the one thing to think about, but I think on this map you can kind of force people out of positions really easily with the super buffed blast radius with the thrown hammer, or you could lead a path to victory like with your Rainmaker, just stamp on. I think that would be interesting to see, but also blasters can kind of hit around the spinners as well. I mean, we've seen that blaster do crazy things, so
Mhm.
we'll see what both teams bring to the table here.
Yeah, I'd love a stamp here. Right, stamp is great for just kind of holding off the entrances onto certain points there. And so you will get your wish. You will get your well string from Vinu. Thank you very much there. Daisy instead going for a squiffer. So what's it called? I guess the longest range being annihilated there instead for something a little more dynamic and exciting. Pop does go a little early there. Daisy able to escape with the smallest sliver of life because behind we have a kill onto Skelly. Skelly wasn't able to make it all the way. Eggs will though find this jet, which gets popped there alongside those killer whales. There you go. You can't hide in that corner, buddy. That's AOE damage. That's going to give you a blast. And so it will be some opening progress here for Shrimple, who is able to start moving through as that first checkpoint is controlled there. And now we see Annalene here doing a little bit of what we saw Michigan do
Oh, here
last
comes
time,
the
holding
stamp.
that forward position.
Stamp.
Oh, instant kill
Stamp.
on the stamp, going to the right there, turn and move and find the blast there. Vinaloo, oh, almost getting that. It's so close to 1 health. Just shoot again. No, instead having to take the fight with the oh no, it's going to be the Squiffer winning that out and getting the wipeout. The vision was so clear for Vinaloo. It was there. But hey, Stam doing miracles and taking us to 4 on Shrimple.
Yeah, four is great. It's whoa, hold on, Zipcaster
From the other
also.
side of the map
Whoa.
and finds another. You're not making it through that stream right there, buddy. That's going to be 2 quick kills from the Greninja looking ult there. Vinaloo making it out onto this height now. Again, ooh, very nice vantage point. And Lane almost finding it, but nope. Vinaloo's got that for you there. And a wipe.
They take a wipe? Okay.
Yeah, very, very kind of like a slow wipe. Not so much enough to be a delayed wipe. Skelly says, no, get out of here. But it will still be some good stuff there. Wait, this isn't even Skelly on our carbon.
Oh, wait, that's
That's not quite sure how to say the name. Would you say
oh, that's
Epard?
I think
There you go. Yeah, E-Park should be about right. Well, it's going to be a kill for Oak. That's what's happening right now. But no, 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 no. Instead, it's Vinaloo saying, you're going to stop right there. I'm not going to give you any more screen time. Right here.
That's fostering.
Yeah, exactly. You were talking about that earlier, right?
Yep. I mean, it's the way Shrimple has played the aggression we've marked a billion times, but Wellstring also has like the ability to kind of shut stuff down, and they're coming in with stamps. It does
man.
everything. I don't want to harp on it too much because I've shown my love for this weapon plenty as is. But we're seeing another Rainmaker push, an Inkjet coming in.
Nice wall. That was a good pump.
that was a good back.
It was. That finds a lot of like ink there and takes it up, but that's going to be a lot of kills coming instead. Wow, there's a lot of carnage over on the side. Vinaloo able to keep the position again. Yeah, okay. So Vinaloo's in this situation again, having to fend off 3, right? Trying to hold everyone, and finally starting to get hit out, but that's going to be 1. Oh, the stamp.
No, I saw the vision, but the specials were a little but another wipe.
Wait, that is a wipe. That's a wipe for the side of Shrimple. I was going to say, they were able to touch and keep the Rainmaker there. Right, so they're not going to have to deal with the penalty incurred by having it reset. And look, going in through the high ground. Oh, but you have to run into a Squiff. That's not great.
Squiffer running their arms there.
Exactly. I mean, Squiffer is literally looking at you in a straight line. You have nowhere to go. So a little unfortunate that's the matchup you got there. Ooh, very precise shot. I saw it go straight onto the enemy as Annalene is going to go down. And again, another great fact. But it doesn't last enough to get through the bridge, right? Which I was saying, like, right here, stamp? Dude, how are you going to get through here when the stamp can just fall on you and do this right here, right? Oh, another one.
Goodness.
There you go. Oak is taken out. You still have the Dynamo hoping to find
they gotta watch out for that.
Ooh. Yeah, Dynamo isn't going down up until now, so that was a little dangerous. Epard gonna keep looking for a little bit, but they really just need to hold as this timer's going down. That's 1, boom, bang, pop. Nothing, but does get some people low. Ooh, Annalene playing with life there. But look, at the end of the day, it's just a distraction.
What a game. What a stamp game, if I dare say.
Yes, that was, I would say, signed, sealed, and delivered early, but I think it was just stamped and sent away as Shrimple are going to take that last nice little practice match. Always good to leave with something. But my takeaway right here is you had two teams, right, which were looking at the game a little differently. You had Michigan, who was open to making the adjustments to being able to play very smart and making those smart decisions at the right times. You had Shrimple, a team that was more explosive throughout most of the game, I would say, not at all times, but throughout most, and they were most willing to kind of move the envelope whenever needed, right? And at the end of the day, the slower at times and faster at other times, methodical, adjusted gameplay of Michigan came out on top to give them this win. Any notes? What are we thinking about how Shrimple played that there, dude?
I mean, I think one thing we've seen from Shrimple is they will get big bursts, big picks. They will make big moments happen. Um, but when they were facing against like a pretty strong macro that Michigan put up, and that made it a little difficult for them to get in and um big like make big it was a little tougher for them to get in and make those big explosive plays that they were looking for, like
Mhm.
Carbon, for example. I mean, funnily enough, we saw a lot of Carbon having to just tell people to back off, actually, instead of the
Yeah.
usual them having to be the ones to get chased away. So it's interesting how they kind of had to adapt to a team that was able to keep up with their tempo, but they still had like that Splat Zones game where they were able to kind of push their tempo, say, hey, you guys got your plan, but we got ours, and it's not yours, and they push through. Or in their fun Rainmaker match they were like, well, I mean, we know how to use our specials too. We can make our inkjet plays, we can make our stamp plays. When it comes to making a big push, Shrimple knows how to make that happen. But with Michigan, they had their plan. They had their details set in stone, and I think that ultimately gave them an edge there in taking the set.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, with that said, right, today, University of Michigan imposed their will through their gameplay to go up 1-1 for their CCA season, as Shrimple as that, taking their first loss of still a long season. Both these teams have a long ways to go, and I'm very excited to see how they continue. But for now, that's going to be what we have. That's our game for the day. Again, I've been Nasu, coming at you from the University of Houston. Dude, do you want to tag yourself in? Do you want to let the people know where they can find you?
I'm doing Nader. I mean, I'm just in the server. I love y'all. um,
um,
don't really have too much. I'm figuring this out. I love Splatoon though, so if we ever cross paths, just know I love playing with you guys. This game is amazing.
yes, for sure. And hey, dude, for your first time, you did great today. It was a great cast with you. It was a great game to cast on. So thank you to the teams. Thank you to our producer in the back, making sure that we got all the best views, all the best replays, all the best production here. But that will be it from the University of Houston. But stay tuned. Keep your notifications on for upcoming games this season from our multiple teams. And we will catch you guys next time.
See ya.